Debbie O'Brien, your connection to events and happenings in Apopka and surrounding communities. So many guests, too numerous to mention. And we're live too, so you can be a part of the show. Call 407-774-8255 and like us on Facebook. The coolest 2 hours on radio. It's Debbie O on the radio. Hey, let's get things started. Here's Debbie O'Brien.
Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to 1520 WBZW. There's 101 ways to get in touch with us, right?
That's right. Welcome to Hour 2. So if you're continuing your listening with us from Hour 1, thank you. We appreciate you being here. If you're just joining us for Hour 2, welcome to the show. Quick reminders how you can get in touch with us, 407-774-8255. We're also on Facebook Live, so we'll go ahead and participate with you via Messenger. And then if you are in your car, you're listening, and you're trying to figure out how you can take your car radio inside, you can't, but you can go to your computer at 1520wbzw.com and stream us live. We're also available on the Alexa device. You just have to enable the skill. And then, of course, we have a smartphone app, so you can take your volume with you, like on your phone, as you walk around the house. Do like I do.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle is good. I know. She is good.
Thank you.
I know. This is a beautiful team here.
We are a good team. I agree.
So we have Greg Jackson and Rod Love here, and we're talking about our community and then the communities that are around us, because, you know, it's not just us. I was saying the other day that it's like pieces of the puzzle. We all fit together. You need one and you need the other. And I think this is just, again, what you guys do for our community and the surrounding areas. How about that? Is just incredible. How you get people together and you get them to talk and open up and make changes.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you, but, you know, also just applying the business logic.
Mm-hmm.
Greg and I met with the Archbishop Alan Wiggins a few weeks back. And for those of you who are not familiar, I mean, this bishop has the Hope Church that's on their property. But I don't know how many years back, Greg, that Walmart built their site on that property. But this created 400 jobs for a community similar to the community that we're trying to impact. But the one thing that we got to just make sure that we understand is, in order to get these businesses to move in these communities, you got to give them an incentive to want to move in. And I'm not talking about impact fees waiving and things of that nature. We got to go in the community. Everybody has to be on one accord regarding how committed we're going to be to improving some of the things that we know shouldn't be happening.
Right. And one of the things that that we always point out to folks is whichever way Orlando goes, so goes Apopka, so goes Maitland, so goes Sanford. We're all interconnected and tied, whether it's because we're relatives, friends, went to school together, whatever the case may be. And so the efforts that we take in Apopka helps to bring about change in areas like Paramore, Richmond Heights, Holden Heights, because these are individuals who have friends, neighbors in this community that may go to them and say, listen, we did something here that helped us. Why don't we do it this way? And like at the community emergency response forum, we had one of the pastors, Jake Stovall, that came over from Holden Heights. And one of the ideas that he provided was very helpful and key to some residents here in Apopka about how to interact with law enforcement to help improve relationships with law enforcement. You remember that?
I remember what you told Apopka Chief McKinley. Greg told Apopka Chief McKinley, because Pastor Stovall talked about how the interaction with law enforcement giving citizens within the community their card that has the cell phone on it. Law enforcement was showing up before people could make 911. Before people could make 911 calls. So Greg,
he said that they said police were falling from the sky. And so I looked at Chief McKinley, who was sitting in the front row. I said, Chief, you ready to fall from the sky, Chief?
But it's about relationships. Dr. Nelson, who is the professor at Bethune-Cookman University, and they actually participated and were scribers and also helped us formulate the development of the task force report.
Right.
And one of the things that he talks about and goes around the country teaching law enforcement and communities is that it's no sense to just have an agreement with law enforcement, because that means law enforcement comes into the community, do their job, and get out.
Yeah.
But when you have a relationship with law enforcement, they come in. The community is welcoming and embraces that. And so when there's a crisis or a situation, law enforcement is not standing there by themselves, but no longer is the citizen.
That's right.
And don't you feel that Apopka is like that, where you feel the presence of the police department, even the fire department, where you feel as though you are their friend, you are there for them, people want to do things for them. They're always in the community helping out.
Right.
Yeah.
When I moved to Apopka, it had that, I moved because it had that small town feel.
Yep.
And we're over 50,000+ people now. But guess what? Just what you said, Debbie. It still has that small town feel.
Yeah.
But now let's not be unicorns and singing kumbaya all together also, because there were some issues that were brought up from the forum.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the issues that was brought up was that some residents, particularly some of the older residents, felt that law enforcement was not very responsive to their calls. And one of the other things is that another person brought up that people didn't feel safe calling Crime Line because law enforcement or because Crime Line would release the information of individuals and that their names didn't stay confidential. Now, we use this as a teaching moment.
Yes.
Because what we did was we went back, we did our research, we checked with law enforcement and found that what the person said was not accurate and it wasn't correct. But it's because of these misconceptions about these things that people feel that they can't trust or they can't call law enforcement because they think that their names will be released. And so these types of forums, it brought out a serious issue of we don't feel like they're very responsive and we don't call because we think that they're going to release our information. And so now we're able to say, don't worry about that.
Right.
This is not how it happens. And law enforcement stood up. Under Chief Canty,
Sheriff
Canty stood up and he said, listen, this is not how we train our officers. And if you have a problem, I'm here. I'm the guy where the buck stops with me and then the sheriff. And if this happens, we're going to correct these things. So it was
Chief
very positive.
Yeah, and Apopka Chief McKinley, representing the city of Apopka, did the exact same thing. And, I think it was very impacting. And just like, Greg mentioned, these community forums, and Greg and I have had this conversation because I tell him, each and every time we ask the community to trust us, we're taking a chance.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the community's taking a chance. And when you have these forums, you better realize that everything that you hear there is not going to be sweet. It's not going to be one of those deals that we're going to be singing kumbaya. Community members got up, and as Greg just mentioned, they had some serious issues, and I'm glad law enforcement was there to address them, but there were other issues that we discussed too that we need to work through.
Right, but we'll talk about Sanford. I'm not saying we'll talk about Altamont Springs and that response from this past weekend.
Yes.
Too.
Okay, yeah.
When the couple things that popped into my head is one, accountability. When you go to these things and you're going to say something, you need to be accountable to your word as well.
That's right.
Right? As the citizen putting that out there, as the community leader, either deflecting or accepting what is being said, you need to be accountable. And I think this is cool because the blind's off. You're not behind a Facebook, social media, any of that stuff.
You're right.
Right.
That's
and
right.
again, like what you mentioned too, is where somebody felt as though Crime Line, does this and that you're not protected. That grows the legs that people hold on to.
Right.
And you're like, come on, that's not true. This is the truth. And I think that's very good.
So Debbie, we're proud to announce, Brother Love and I, that to put all of your fears aside, people, Crime Line is confidential.
Right.
When you call and report the Crime Line, they will not release your name. That's right. That's right.
That's why it's
Do
there.
something, say something.
That's right.
There you go. Well, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with Greg Jackson and Rod Love. Thanks for tuning in. 1520 WBZW.